What's the biggest difference between coaching at the college level and coaching at the NBA level?
I would say this: it's like the way I'd liken this to the conversation we're having right now. And what I mean by that is the conversation that we had when I was recruiting you guys, and you guys were 18 years old.
Yeah.
It's a lot different now than it was 25 years ago, right? And I almost like it as a parent, right? You have a child that's 8, 9 years old, and now you got a child, that child's 25 or 30. The relationship's different. So you're dealing with, to me, in the NBA, grown men that have experienced everything that they possibly could have experienced in the game of basketball. They've seen it all. They've been through it all. And then I think the college guys just haven't. And sometimes they're a little bit delusional because people around them are telling them what they got to do to get to the league, how much they're going to be in the league, where they're going to get drafted, and they have no idea. Whereas I think an NBA player is just so much more worldly and seasoned in the game of basketball.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So, question. When you decided to take the leap, Coach, the first opportunity, obviously, Orlando obviously didn't work out. OKC. Just give me a rundown on coaching those young guys to obviously where they are now. Did you see those guys? Because I'm obviously, they're Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers. But as young guys, did you see their careers? KD, 16 years into the league and what he's doing now, did you see those guys' careers going this way? You can see talent, but talent doesn't always push you to the next level. It doesn't always, you can just stop. We've seen plenty of talented guys. Don't last a year.
In and out.
You can put it in the hole, but they don't last. Did you see these guys being at the level that they're at now and playing at this consistent high level?
Well, you know, when I came in there, both those guys were Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Both those guys were all-stars, you know. And the one thing I really appreciated was with those two guys, and even Nick Collison, who was a veteran guy, Nazir Muhammad was a veteran guy.
Nazir, OG.
Like, it was, I would say this, the most humbling experience for me was the first game I was coaching in the NBA. We were playing San Antonio, and I'm walking out there for shoot-around the day of the game. And I had to come to the realization that Kevin Durant knows a lot more about guarding Kawhi Leonard than I ever could tell him. And Russell Westbrook knows a lot more about guarding Tony Parker than I could ever tell him. And that moment made me realize that I had to work to catch up to those guys because of what they experienced on the floor. And also those guys' patient level with me, you know, and trying to pick their brain and learn from them. Because I always think that as a coach, you can watch things in the NBA from the sidelines. It's a different experience when you guys are out there feeling it. You guys can provide different things. And I always, you know, tried to do that. But I never forget, like, one of our first games, and Russell Westbrook was great with this too. So there was like a foul in the lane, you know, and there was a timeout. So it goes to timeout, and, you know, I'm like 3 games removed from college, and I'm drawing up and underneath that a bounce play. And Russell says, Coach,
on the side.
Up here we take it out on the side. You know, but like they would joke with me there on that stuff, and I think they felt like I worked hard. You know, the one thing I loved about those two guys, and I tell a lot of players this, those two guys, and really the whole team and the organization in a lot of ways, even Serge Ibaka, all of them, but Kevin and Russell were in that gym, whether there was a game the night before or no game, at 8:30.
Respect.
Every day.
Respect.
Every day.
That's why they're where they're at, though.
And I think even for Kevin, you know, some of the things that he had to deal with, you know, different injuries and foot, I think a lot of it's been with how hard he works. You know, I've never seen him go
hard
out there and ever take a shot that's not a game shot. There is no messing around. He gets out there. It is total detail, focus, and concentration. And the same thing with Russell Westbrook. Like Russell, he would get to the arena on a home game like 3.5 hours before the game. And I always said it was like a great comfort thing is that you walk into the locker room before the game, you know, pre-game film, whatever it is, you know that guy is going to be shot out of a cannon once the jump ball goes up, you know. And I had great admiration for the way those guys competed, loved the game, and played the game. I wish in some way we could have found a way to get through Golden State and beaten them. But, you know, I was very, very fortunate to be around those guys. And then obviously, I think organizationally, helping me with the transition, the organization was very helpful as well.
Yeah, but as a credit to you though too, like I'll be honest, coming from college and going in that situation, like just the communication, like you said before, like they know better about how guarding Kawhi. Like I have a conversation with NBA coaches now, even with their players, like just communicate with them.
Yeah,
they're out there, they're in the grind of it. Like if they feel something, believe me, it's worth writing down and understanding. Like that's, to me, that's why you've been able to do what you've done, because that transition's hard.
It's hard, and you have to. I think you have to have an understanding and a respect that, as a coach, you still can learn and get better, right?
Sure.
I really, this was like, you end up leaving and making the decision to go. And I never forget this. Had a conversation with Jim O'Brien, who he replaced me at Kentucky when I left, and then he went with Coach Pitino to the Celtics,
Yep.
became the head coach of the Celtics, head coach of the Pacers, and we had a conversation on the phone, and he said, Billy, one of the things you're going to have to do is you got to figure out how to rely on the players because of their experiences. And he said, the mistake that you can make is not to go in there and listen to those guys, because they're the ones that experienced between the lines, and you can gather an enormous amount of information as a coach to help them, instead of coming in as a coach. Well, I'm the coach. It's my way or the highway. I'm not listening to anybody. Yeah. And I just don't know if that's wise. It's just, I think that you can pull and extract from a lot of different experiences to help me do my job, which is ultimately to put those guys in the position to be the best version of themselves. And in order to do that, you have to be able to, I think, have an open mind. And listen, there's times, UD, Mike, you're going to have disagreements on the scouting report.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And we should guard it this way. No, we should guard it that way. But like, if you have a good relationship and you communicate, you say, listen,
yes,
we're going to do it this way. This is what I think is best right now. And you know what? If it's not working, we'll change.
Yeah.
You put your best foot forward to guard it. Or the other thing is, too, is, hey, listen, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Let's switch it. Let's do it your way. You got to work together like that. You're in a working relationship that you're both trying to get the same exact results, and that's a win.
That's
but
right.
you got to do it together.
No doubt.
And the more information you have to talk things out, I think the healthier it is, and probably the better answers you're going to come up with.
Yeah.
Speaking about winning, obviously we came up short when we were at Florida, which was one of the most devastating things ever.
Michigan State. Team Cleves.
Still hate it. But back-to-back championships, to me, is one of the most impressive things ever, because to me, college is more impressive than actually the NBA in a lot of terms.
One
because
game.
yes, it's one game. You're not at your best. Like in the NBA, you've been in it, game 2, game 3 at their place. You can lose that and still come back and be fine.
That's right.
Like we had our battles against Butler. We ended up winning the game. But to win back-to-back championships, to be able to bring those guys back and do that, talk about what the challenges were after they won it and then coming back the second time, because those guys all to buy in and come back. Again, credit to you guys and what you guys did at Florida, because that's not easy to do, to get them all come back. Because you did just blame me again before we got on here that I didn't come back.
If I can blame you for that, then I could take credit for some of the wins, because Coach let me talk to the guys and they came back.
He did talk to the guys.
He did talk to the guys. Oh, yeah. I got a couple of calls from UD. He wasn't happy with the way we were playing. Bring them in the office. I want to. They need an earful right now. Oh, yeah.